Why network? Why network? Welcome again to my channel where you get to learn about leadership, communication, and networking. And today we'll be focusing on networking. But before going into that, I want to ask you guys a question. How many times have you seen people walk around and act like I can do it all by myself? How many times have you seen people, or maybe you by yourself, have had this lone ranger mentality, like, I gotta be by myself. I gotta do it by myself. No one can do it as much as I can do it. And to the point where we have all this division online, we have the alpha, the beta, the sigma. And then most guys tend to classify themselves as the sigma guy, the guy that likes to be by himself and do things by himself and, just stay away from the the usual type of attention that the alpha or the beta draw to themselves. So people like that exist and they feel like, well, maybe I just don't have to do anything with anyone. And sometimes there are reasons why people get into that space. And almost every single one of us have experienced that. Some of them might be that you're so good, and every time you want someone to do something for you, you feel like they don't do it as much as good as you do it. That's a sense of pride on its own. Now, some people, it might be because you've trusted someone, maybe your friend, maybe your family, and then they let you down. They disappointed you. So now you're like, you know what? I don't trust anyone. So I want to be by myself. Some people might just be, they just don't have that social skills required to like go out there and just be amongst people. Some people just can't, there's a lot of ego and pride issue for some people. They're like, I think I'm better than you. So there's so many things that make people, some people just don't want to work with other people. You just tend to just, be by yourself or repel people off, or maybe it's your attitude, maybe you just don't have a very good, positive, attitude. And that could be a reason, or maybe you just flare up every time someone tries to test you, or maybe someone gets on your bad side, you flare up. You don't have no self-control. You can't control yourself, most especially when you're around people. So those are one of the reasons why people tend to cave in and be by themselves, which in most cases, it's not a very good thing. If you remember in the 48 laws of power, Robert Greene, one of the laws is that never retreat into a fortress. Getting into a fortress itself is dangerous, whereby you like seclude yourself from everyone. You're cutting yourself short away from information. You're cutting yourself short away from help, and then you are just making the enemies just know exactly where you are. But in this case, we're not talking about the enemy or the fortress or the fight or whatever. We are focusing on going out there, putting yourself out there and networking with people, being social, okay, improving your social skills. The question I have is, why network? Okay, why network? Why do you have to put yourself out there? It's very important, because if you don't understand how much networking can benefit you, then you wouldn't even do it. Okay, one of my favorite quotes is, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with a group. Because when you and going alone is that lone ranger mentality. Of course, you will go fast, okay, but there's a limit to your strength. One of my friends has a truck driving business, and he said sometimes, because truck drivers drive hours on the road, especially if you're doing the interstate. And he said something, and that was the very first time I would hear that. Now, maybe a lot of you are familiar with that, but that was my very first time hearing it. And he said, because I used to work retails, and in the retail business, most of my truck drivers would tell me they drive hours on the road, and sometimes they have to like pull over and like, sleep or take a break, because there's a specific amount of hours you could spend on the road. And this friend of mine said when he's running his own business that there's this thing called team driving that he does, whereby they have two drivers, and this driver drives during the shift, like they basically rotate shift. So one driver drives for a specific number of hours, the other driver takes over So they rotate the shift. So that way, when they do that, they could drive hours because they're taking time to rest. And that is the benefit of working in a group. You have some time to rest, you have some time to rebuild, you have some time to recuperate your energy, and you have some time to even now go farther than someone that's just moving, at the speed of a bullet, who then gets drained, and then, you can't go any further. Sometimes if you're going by yourself, you could get drained and then you recuperate and, reset and rebuild and keep moving, but you still won't be able to compete with someone that builds a team around them. And that is why you need to start thinking of, how can I get the best out of my relationship with peers? How can I get the best out of my relationship with people? How can I get the best out of my relationship with friends? Do you even walk up to a stranger and say hello, which is very difficult in today's world, because I do it. And sometimes the way people are, they're like, who's this? Who's this dude walking up to me and saying hi? Sometimes if you even extend a handshake to people, they think twice before they even shake your hand. So one of the things that I've learned is the very first thing you want to communicate is safety. Okay, you need to be able to non-verbally communicate safety. The moment you learn how to do that and people see you as non-threatening, they will open up to you, or let down their guards, when they're communicating with you, which is what you want. You don't want people getting all defensive and, antagonizing you every time you bring an idea. Like, they just, even if they have no reason, they just say no, because they're on their guards. And that's one thing you want to do. You want to make people losing their guards, so that you can, relate better, communicate better, build and have a better relationship, networking relationship with people. So why do you have to network? Like, why? What's the importance of networking? And I'll be very fast with this, because my intention is to go by this video as fast as possible. So the very first thing I have here is you building a team. Like I said, it's important. Remember the quote: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a group. Networking helps you build a team that you can trust. And you have to be able to understand that, especially if you want to build something that will last longer, like years, like a long-term building. That's your focus. The second thing is you have access to human resources. Okay. That's one of the important of networking, because, and human resources in this point is you being able to bring someone in that can do what you cannot do. So maybe, for example, I'm a filmmaker, okay, and I can handle the camera, but I can't do sound, I can't do lighting. Even if I can, I still can't do everything on set. So I have to bring someone in to cover those places. So now I'm having access to human resources due to going out there and networking with people. Now, sometimes you could hire people if you have the money. Maybe you've put in all the hours into making money, then you could hire people, which is fine, a substitute. But sometimes you want to work with people that you can trust. All right. The next thing is networking is good for career development. If you want to develop your career, networking, you need to know how to network with people. If it's in a company, if it's in a group, if it's in a space, you need to be able to work with a lot of people. You need to be able to talk to strangers. You need to be able to go to your boss and be like, well, you said I'll be due for promotion in 2 years. This is 2.5 years. You need to be able to say things. You need to be able to go to offices that you've never been to and just say hi to everyone in there. That's one way of networking with people. Okay, you need to make that really happen. The next thing is networking is good because it gives you the avenue to exchange ideas with people. Regardless of how intelligent you are, it's always important for you to be able to exchange ideas with people, because your ideas will never be 100% and there will always be something that you miss. But when you bring it to people and people view it from a different point of view, they can provide you with some constructive feedback, and this has to be someone that you can trust as well, because trust is very important, because people these days come up funny. I'm just being realistic. You can't trust a lot of people, but the moment you could build trust with this person, then you could start exchanging ideas with this person. And the next thing is newer opportunities, which usually comes from you exchanging ideas, people, career development, and also, having access to human resources. You have the opportunity to to put yourself in a position, to expose yourself to a position of newer opportunities. And also, the better you are, which is the next thing, the better you are at networking with people, the better the opportunity you create yourself to receive support from high profile people. It's very important. You can't get to the top by yourself. You need people at the top to like pull you up, or you need people that are below to like push you up. At the end of the day, you still need help from people. So your networking ability, your improved networking skills provides you the opportunity to expose yourself and receive support from high profile people. The next one is like a cumulative effect of all these points I've listed, which is a growth in status. The more people you have on your team, the more you're able to build a team and network with people, the higher your status, on the social hierarchy. And that is one of the best thing, because the moment you grow in status, you have more influence, you can access more resources, you can get people to help you out with more things. Okay, so networking is so important. And finally, networking with people helps you develop a very long lasting relationship. Some relationships don't work out and some do, but the more you put yourself out there and work out, network with people, you have the opportunity of building a long lasting relationship. Now, how do you network with people? I believe I've said this before on multiple occasions, and I think I have a video on networking, but how do you network with people? One of the very first things I do is, which I believe has worked for me in so many ways, is to the very first thing is to always be intentional about networking. You need to know in your mind that I want to network with this person. Networking is intentional. Okay, so that's one of the very first thing that you have to keep in your mind. The second thing is meet with the right people. Once you identify your business and you identify what you want to do, then you go and meet people. So if you're in the film business and you're networking with, in the film business, you can network with everyone, which is possible because you never know who you might need, but let's say you're a businessman, or let's say you're a businessman, for example, and then you're networking with dentists, that might not be something you need immediately that can help your business grow, but eventually you would need like a dentist, right? So that's a pretty strong example, but you get an idea of what I'm trying to say. Like, network with people in your field. That would really help you with your career development. Now, you can network with every other person, even people that are not in your field. But if you are focused on career development, you want to network with people in your field. And that is why networking is intentional. So you need to know what the end game is, what's your end goal of networking is. Once you can identify them, then you know what you the kind of people you want to network with. The following thing that you have to keep in mind is you have to be proactive. Okay, you have to be proactive. You can't just sit back on your chair and expect people to network with you. You have to go out there and network with people. Another thing is to always to know how to give and take. Okay, one of my very first rule in networking is always be willing to give more than you take, but there is always a balance. That's why now I kind of change it to know how to give and take. The moment you know how to give and take, you can, you could network with people and establish good relationship. And if it works out, perfect. And if it doesn't, you don't have so much to lose. from the relationship. But networking is all about giving and taking. And sometimes you have to be willing to give more than you take, because every human being is self-centered, and the moment you understand that most human beings are self-centered, you can use that to your advantage. You give them what they want. It could be an information, it could be a resource, it could be, a referral, but always be willing to give more than you take. Okay, so seek out networking event, go for networking events, and meet more people. Okay, meet more people. For me, one thing I do is I kind of make it like mandatory for myself. I've been doing this for years, whereby every single day I go out, I make the effort to talk to someone new. Very important, because that's how I meet more people. That's how I talk to more people. That's how I expand my network base, by reaching out to newer folks. I talk to my old friends, but then I still reach out to more people because I want to expand my network base. Because you never know who's who. You never know who might help you with something. You never know who might give you a specific information. So you always have to go out there and talk to more people, tell people who you are, tell them what you do, tell them what you love doing, find out if they need anything. This is very important. When you're talking to someone, find out how you can help them. Now, some people, like I said at the beginning, that some people might be lone ranger, but always find out how you can help people. The moment you can identify what this person needs and how you can provide it for them, then when the time comes to help you, they wouldn't hesitate, because you've been doing the same thing. That might not be in all cases, because some people, even though you've helped them before, they might still hesitate. So just keep that in mind, but always try to figure out what's it that people around you need and how you can provide it to them. So that's the basic thing on networking that I was going to share with you briefly. Two things that I touch is why network, why do we have to network? What's the importance of networking, and how, the tips on how you could network effectively with people. Just go back, watch this video all over again. Take notes, very important. In networking is so important. Take notes, memorize some things, and go out and practicalize these things. Because if you don't, it's just going to be another YouTube video that you've watched that's not making any impact in your life. But that's not our goal here. Our mission is to make sure we stay impacted positively and we keep growing. And until next time, if this is your very first time seeing my channel or watching my video, please make sure you click the subscribe button, so that way, most especially if you're interested in content that has to do with leadership, communication, and networking, click the subscribe button, because I release content on leadership, communication, and networking. And also, like this video, share this video, let a lot of your friends see this video, because we all need to know how to network. Because the moment we all know how to network in a better, in a better format, we have a good social setting. We have a better community. We have a community where people understand people and everyone can work for the betterment of each other. So yeah, please make sure you subscribe, like, and share this video for your friends. And until next time, when you'll be seeing my next video, remember to always be your best self. Take care, everyone. Bye.